Hello and welcome to JSB Talks Digital, the podcast for marketers, digital transformation champions, and those of you bringing your skills into the digital age. I'm Joanne Sweeney-Burke and this podcast is brought to you by Digital Training Institute. In this episode number 108, I'm talking content repurposing with purpose and how to get amazing results from your content marketing. In social media news, Google now indexes search results based on mobile usage. Create Facebook ads on the go with Ads Manager's new mobile creative tools. And Twitter allows you to dock your video while you scroll on. I interview content repurposing entrepreneur Amy Woods during our recent mastermind retreat with Chris Ducker in London. In shoutouts, 3 content repurposing tools you need in your digital toolbox. Ask JSB in JSB's column why I'm obsessed with content marketing and why you should be too. And find out what social media tool saved my working week.
Social media news.
As many of you know, I deliver Google's mobile masterclass to their biggest clients across Europe, and the dominance of mobile in search cannot be overstated. It's no surprise to me then that they recently announced mobile-first indexing for search. Previously, Google's index was based on desktop usage of websites, but it's made the move to primarily using mobile index for search engine result pages. Because they say, and of course we know by our own habits, we are increasingly searching for content on mobile devices. Studies detail the trend is likely to grow with the number of search queries and time spent on websites with smartphone and tablets dominating. So, what does it mean for digital marketers? Simply, we must ensure our websites are mobile friendly. You can take Google's mobile-friendly test. It's as simple as typing in the URL, which you can find on the blog post associated with this podcast over at digitaltraining.ie. Facebook has made it easier for marketers to create and launch ads on mobile using the Ads Manager app. The social network has added a series of new creative options, which include text overlays, logos, stickers, and colour filters. Images can be cropped, and a text policy check ensures that copy does not exceed Facebook's guidelines on images. Facebook has also added really useful templates, which are fully customisable and include stickers and other fun additions. This is a Facebook Ads Manager's dream. I can't wait to try the new features out. Twitter is rolling out a new feature that allows you to dock videos on the platform in order to keep watching as you scroll. The feature is fairly simple and easy to use. You just have to tap on the dock option available at the top right of the play window in full screen, which is now present in the new version for Android users. The full screen will minimise and you can continue to scroll on your timeline. The screen can be moved wherever you see it, and when you want to stop, just swipe it away. Of course, this feature is already available on Facebook.
Interview.
In this episode, I interview Amy Woods, a digital entrepreneur and an expert in content repurposing. She's also a fellow podcaster. Amy helps online content creators grow their audience by maximising their return on every piece of content that they create. She's the founder of Content10x, who provide content repurposing services to podcasters, video content creators, and bloggers. When not repurposing, Amy is a proud mum of 2 little boys and lives in Manchester. Before setting up as an entrepreneur, she spent 13 years as a management consultant, working on post-M&A restructuring for Fortune 500 companies. Amy and I are fellow knights on Chris Ducker's Roundtable Mastermind, and this week we took some time out to discuss repurposing content with purpose for greater results.
JSB Talks Digital.
So Amy, we're here in Newmarket at day one of Chris Ducker's Mastermind Retreat. We're fellow knights and we're also fellow content producers. But I wanted to talk to you today about the importance of extending the length and the value of our content. First of all, can you explain to the listeners what is repurposing?
Right, okay, so repurposing content, it's a way to get the most value from a piece of content that you create by changing the format or the style. So it's not copy and paste, it's being creative and imaginative with original pieces of content to get that message in front of new and different audiences.
So people sometimes describe me as the content queen because they see all of the content going out on a weekly basis and I never really miss a week. But what they don't realise is the secret that I have, but also the secret that you actually sell as a business. Because we had this conversation and I know you've created a lead magnet, create one podcast, get a month's worth of content. How is that possible?
Right, so basically it might sound impossible, but actually you put so much effort into a podcast episode or into a blog post or into a video. So it's a shame not to then kind of maximise that value. And it may sound at first like a month's worth of content, that's lots of hard work, and you've already put lots of effort into the first piece of content. So come on, you're asking me to do more work. But actually, you need to do that work because you put so much effort into the first. So you actually let your content down if you don't do that. So it's possible because there are so many different ways. So let's take a podcast. And you've got that, it's an audio file. So how can you then repurpose that? So firstly, you can look about turning it into written content. So you can turn it into show notes, or you can create longer form blog posts as well. So it could be a blog post about the podcast episode, or it could be more an evergreen, like a discursive piece about the topic that you could put not only on your website but on LinkedIn as an article, on Medium, on Quora as a question. So lots of different things you can do with audio to written. Then you can think about audio to graphics and visuals and taking quotes and sentences and things like that. You can look about infographics as well, so like kind of more flagship visuals, I guess. And then you can think about video as well. So it's possible because you need to be creative and imaginative and really think about how can I touch people's senses in different ways, reach people in different places, and, you know, most importantly, get your message to people who may not have heard it the first time, may need to hear it more than one time for it to actually sink in with them. And also, you know, just to connect, people's brains work differently. Some people don't learn very well listening, they're more visual people. Some people need to watch video, so how can you kind of connect with them as well? And that's what you need to think about. So there's loads. We say 10x, but actually, honestly, you could probably 100x like really good pieces of content. So
I think your business it's not a business that existed 5 years ago because the demand wasn't there. People I know who I'm trying to help or who are listening to this podcast have overwhelmed. They feel that I need to be blogging, podcasting, doing video, being on every single social network, and doing email marketing. But you've actually created a business where you take that pain and that need to have that knowledge away from them. Tell us about Content10x.
So basically it's exactly that. So we want our clients to focus on quality. We don't want them to get stressed. We don't want them to feel overwhelmed. We want them to think about creating amazing content. But then everything that I just said to you just before in terms of repurposing, so we then work with clients to do that for them. So if you've created a great piece of original content, what we then do is, we can retain your voice and what you were trying to get across in your message because it comes from you, the first piece of content, but then we do the repurposing. So we turn podcasts into videos, into visuals, into graphics, into lead magnets, into email courses, series, as membership site content. So we do that we offer a service. So we're basically a creative agency, but we only repurpose original content. So we're very boutique, like very niche creative agency where repurposing is our key thing. So if you have great original content, then we take it from there, basically.
Imagine all the presentations, the speeches,
Yeah.
or even the emails that we have written over the years. Now, you've challenged me on this, and correctly so, and said, does it ever get unearthed, and do people ever see it? And the honest answer is no. And ever since we've had that conversation, it's been on my mind. So you don't have to be a digital marketer like me, do you? You can be any expert in any subject matter.
Yeah, and I guess like we're talking now about podcasts or video or blog, but actually you can repurpose. So you may do in-person presentations, maybe it's more of a physical type business, and then you can repurpose physical to digital. You can repurpose the questions and answers that you get asked as businesses, or whatever business you're in, whatever job you have, you can repurpose questions and answers into social content and things like that. You don't need to be a marketer. You need to know your stuff, and then I don't need to preach to you about the importance of content marketing, but content is where we actually build trust, where people start to understand us, resonate with us. It's through content. So you have to think about those ways that you create content. It's not just blogs, podcasts, video. It's like you said, it can be anything where we try to get a message across to our audience, basically. So,
and it's not just about that visibility and that vanity that people see us. We're talking about cash here. We're talking about building businesses. And you have some fantastic clients and case studies where they've openly said to you, you've transformed my business because you've unearthed all that content. Can you share a little bit of maybe some insights with us?
Yeah, so it's about unearthing content and helping people to be overwhelmed so that they can reach more people. So, for example, I've worked with people who are influencers in their industry, so professional services industries, and they are creating one piece of content and feeling like they're doing it consistently, but they're really in a really narrow way, only reaching certain people who consume that one type of content. And then as we've worked with them, they've started to find that there's all these people who didn't even really know that they existed because they didn't listen to podcasts. Like I was saying before, as we were speaking earlier, 66% of people don't listen to podcasts. In actual fact, in the UK, that's 77% don't listen to podcasts. So if you only put podcasts out there, you only hit those people. So the clients that we work with, I think it's more about the reach and reaching people who never knew they ever existed, and they're showcasing their knowledge and expertise in ways that are really wowing their clients and their audiences. And clients is really important too. So clients are noticing, as well as reaching people that have never met them before. Existing clients are all of a sudden seeing all of this great content and more dimensions to what they can do. And that's what's happening with our clients, really, the people that we work with. It's that they're really kind of starting to take off. But more importantly, they're having the time to focus on growing their business. Like they're getting time back whilst feeling like they are everywhere. So they're kind of the two challenges of wanting to be everywhere and having no time. They can kind of kill two birds with one stone, basically.
Absolutely. And so when people see me on LinkedIn, or they get my blog post, or the latest episode of JSB Talks Digital comes out, they're going, what actually does Joanne do from a business perspective, because she's producing all this content? Yeah. That's really important. I have developed a model and a process, but now as we're conversing, I'm going, but I need to scale that. Yeah. And it's not just possible by doing it by me myself. So even somebody like me who can recreate content, I need to maybe hand it over because my time is better spent in the business, create the content once, Joanne, and give it to Content10x?
Yeah, because basically, either sometimes it's things that you can do, you have the skills to do it, but actually is it the best use of your time? If you were to put an hourly figure on what you could bring into your business, does it pay off? And maybe most likely not. So maybe you can. Otherwise, maybe there is a skills gap anyway, and you can't do it. So whether it's Content10x or somebody else, but it's important to acknowledge you can't do everything, but somebody else can do that, giving you back the hour and hours in your day to bring the business in. So yeah, I know what you mean. I think some people see other people and they're everywhere online, and cynics may think, well, they're spending so much time creating content. What do they actually do in the business? Well, actually, most likely if the business is doing well, they're not doing it all on their own. It's not possible to be doing all of that on your own and having a growing business basically. So you need to get help at some point. Yeah.
And those that are trying to make it online focus a lot on social, don't they? But I think one of the big benefits of repurposing is serving Google in the search engines, that massive opportunity in organic traffic that people are forgetting about and maybe focusing all their efforts and money on Facebook ads.
Yeah, so search engine optimization is so important, and actually some people would have you believe you need some kind of PhD in SEO. Well, actually you don't, do you? I mean, you can. There's lots that you can do to improve your SEO, but obviously you have to have the content to optimise before you can start optimising anything. But then there's plenty that you can do in order to get found. And yeah, you can get found on Facebook, you can get found on Instagram, but really when we have problems and we want to solve them, personally I know the first thing I do is go to Google, and it doesn't most people do that. We Google problems, don't we? We go to Facebook to socialise, to have fun. It's like a party. You don't always want to solve problems at a party, do you? You want to solve problems out, so you have to be found. Yeah. And SEO, you don't have to have a PhD in SEO, basically, but create good content. Yeah.
I think it's very exciting for you at a time like this where people are suffering overwhelm.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the big problems that you are solving. And even for somebody like me who understands digital, I also feel that. And I think the time will come when a business like Content10x will just be like having an accountant.
Yeah.
To help you build your business. What are people saying to you, who are working with you now? Are they saying, you're giving me back time, I'm making more money?
They're saying that you're giving me back time, I'm making more money, I'm reaching more people, and I never knew that so much was possible from one of my, say a Facebook Live, sometimes people say, I didn't know you could actually make that much from my fairly, scatty Facebook Live and that kind of thing. So they're actually wowed at what can be done, and the fact that it brings in more, it affects the bottom line basically as well. So it's really, really important. Yeah.
So to those people out there who have always said to me, Joanne, how do I solve my content problems? Amy has just answered it. Write it, say it, record it once and repurpose it. If you don't know how, outsource it. Your time is money, and people like me who are selling a professional service, playing and pitching at the highest level of our game, the money that is to be made in the online world for us right now is absolutely remarkable. So I know that you have a fantastic lead magnet that you have created. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so the lead magnet, it's called One Podcast, One Month's Content. Okay, but you don't have to have a podcast, so it could easily be translatable to really any content. So one great piece of content, one month's content, it does a few things. It explains the kinds of ways that you could create different content off one piece. It provides a sample calendar, so just follow our sample calendar if you want, and we'll show you every day for 30 days what you can do with one piece of content. And then it gives you your blank calendar, so if you don't use the sample one, then look at the sample and then fill in what works for you. So it's got 3 different parts to it. So I think it's really, really useful, especially for anyone who needs to have a plan and a strategy and wants to just map something out and then work to it every single month. So it's you can get it at content10x.com/freebie, so FREEBIE freebie. And yeah, it's really, really useful. And obviously you could make it 2 podcasts and even more content, but if the very most, at least if you do one, or blog or video, it's translatable as well. So
Amy Woods of Content10x, thank you so much for coming on JSB Talks Digital and for taking time out from the Roundtable Mastermind. Should we go and have dinner and network with our knights?
Yeah, and a glass of wine, G&T maybe as well.
Thanks, Amy.
Thank you.
JSB Talks Digital.
Make sure you connect with Amy via her website. It's content10x.com, or you'll find her across social media at content10x on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Shoutouts.
In this part of the show, I give shout-outs to brands, organisations or individuals whose work online is remarkable and worth talking about. In this episode, I'm sharing 3 content repurposing tools I use every single week. And I promise you, if you use them, they will ignite your content marketing.
1.
Vyond, formerly known as GoAnimate, is a super easy to use animated video tool. It creates engaging videos for web and social. And a little tip, each video you create with it should communicate one clear message. You can find out more at vyond.com, and that's vyond.com.
2.
Rev allows you to get transcription and captions for audio or video files. I use it to transcribe audio when I'm speaking on stages or recording interviews. That audio is then transformed into a blog post and social media posts. I also use it to create captions for my videos. It's super affordable at only $1 per 1 minute of audio or video. Find out more at rev.com, and that's rev.com.
3.
Wave allows you to repurpose audio into social videos. I will take a snippet of Amy's interview in this episode, for example, and overlay it with a graphic to create a short video promo. This entices people to tune into the whole episode. And to do this, I use Wave. Again, very easy to use, and you can find out more at wave.co, and that's WAVVE.co.
Ask JSB.
In this week's Ask JSB, Amy Woods turns the tables on me, and she wants to know, what's my biggest content challenge?
Hey Joanne, I'm asking the question now, which is, what is your biggest content challenge?
That's a great question, Amy, and it's a great question for me, the digital content queen. I have to admit that my biggest challenge is probably not maximising the potential of my original content. As you know, I repurpose a lot, but I also feel there's so much more that I could do. And so in thinking about that over the past couple of days and having more conversations with you about repurposing, I've come up with a new idea. I'm going to create an A to Z of JSB Talks Digital. This is going to be a 12-month evergreen library of content that I'm going to take from videos, podcasts, blog posts, handbooks, presentations, speeches, strategies, pitches, and my book. And that's going to allow me to dip into that content every single week for the next year. So, Amy, I may need your help with my big repurposing project. If you have a digital marketing or social media question, don't forget you will have it answered on the show by using the hashtag AskJSB on Twitter or Instagram. You can also leave me a voicemail with your question at digitaltraininginstitute.ie Ask JSB. And of course, you can also post a message on any of my social networks. If you think you need Amy's help for your repurposing project, then make sure you check out her website at content10x.com.
JSB's column.
In today's JSB's column, I want to talk to you about why I'm obsessed with content marketing. I consider myself a professional storyteller. I've been telling stories ever since I trained as a broadcast journalist way back when. Fast forward almost 20 years and I'm still telling stories through the power of podcasting, social media, blogging, and creating videos. Content creates trust, traffic, and being talked about, because if you're not being talked about online, then people aren't going to visit your website and ultimately hire you. Content is also very important for Google. I truly believe that there's a gap in search results for just about anything that you want to be known and found for. If you create the right content, which answers the questions that your clients have, then you're going to get them to come straight to your website. My audience rely on me for my digital marketing and social media expertise. So I create the content, again, just like this podcast, and I'm happy to help them out. When you create content that speaks directly to your ideal prospects or your ideal audience, then you attract that perfect client to you. I also consider my website, my podcast, my YouTube channel, and my social networks as almost like my media publishing hub. I own all of that content, so I have full editorial control, and I can decide when I want to promote it and how I publish it. The other thing about content marketing that really gets me excited is that it differentiates me from other digital marketers. I'm not saying I'm any better than any other digital marketer in my field, but what it does is that it allows other people to see my personality, my approach, and how I solve digital marketing problems. Content marketing also helps you define your audience. If you don't have a razor-sharp focus on your audience, then your content isn't going to hit anyone. You have to go straight for the people that you're talking to. And then finally, content marketing for me is very cathartic. I love podcasting. I love writing, I love creating video, and I love walking and talking. I absolutely love the ability to express myself on all the topics related to digital marketing and social media that get me going. If you're just starting out on your own content marketing journey, or if you want to revisit your strategy, here's 3 steps that will keep you focused and will help you deliver the results that you want. Number 1, map the content to the pain point of your ideal audience. Just don't create content that you think is trendy and cool to talk about. It really should answer the questions and the problems of your ideal audience. Secondly, use the right type of content for that problem. It might be a podcast, a blog post, social media updates, or it might be video. And then finally, map the content to the customer journey of the person or the group of people that you're speaking to. One piece of content will match one part of the customer journey. However, you may need multiple types of content and multiple pieces in that story to help your customer out fully. So if you want to discuss your content marketing strategy any further, then please get in touch. Simply drop me an email to joanne@digitaltraining.ie.
Social media tool of the week.
The social media tool that saved my working week this week is Autoprompter. My fellow Knight and Treasury Recruitment Pro, Mike Richards, recommended a new tool to our mastermind group this week in Newmarket. Autoprompter is a smart teleprompter app for iOS. It helps you deliver better presentations online and make better videos with a huge selection of professional tools and smart features. It's a pretty cool app which intelligently scrolls your script automatically using voice recognition. It reflects the text of your script for use in a professional teleprompter rig. You can import PDF, Word, PowerPoint, text and RTF files instantly from any of your favourite apps. You can also use your camera to record as you read your script on a laptop. You can include multiple cue points into your script to quickly jump to different positions. And you can use any other iOS device monitor and control scrolling and speed using your keyboard. I bought the Pro version for 1 year for just €29.49. If you want to find out more, go to the App Store or log on to autoprompter.com to take your free 7-day trial. Thank you so much for tuning in to episode number 108 of JSB Talks Digital. As always, I have everything discussed on today's show on my award-winning blog over at digitaltraining.ie. If you're a regular listener, I would really love a review. Don't forget, we are now on Google Podcasts, reaching even more Android users. You can also subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Libsyn, Stitcher or SoundCloud. If you're interested in becoming a digital marketing pro and work in the public sector, check out my new diploma in digital communications for public sector at publicsectormarketingpros.com/diploma. It starts on September 3rd. Thank you for continuing to listen, and don't forget to get in touch if you have any questions. You can send me a tweet to a Tweets by JSB, post a comment on our Facebook page, Digital Training Institute. You can also snap me to JSB Snaps. I'm Joanne Sweeney Burke. This is JSB Talks Digital. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you soon.
JSB Talks Digital.